Hello and welcome into the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Coming up today, Elgin City Council gives its final approval for a new eatery. A daycare worker is accused of giving laxatives to kids, and a man was found shot in an Oak Brook Terrace parking lot after a crash. Our headline story for today, Batavia wants pedestrian safety work on State Highway, and from Shaw Local, dealing death, fentanyl-laced pills pose fatal risk to unsuspecting users. All that and more coming up on today's WRMN News. Don't forget that you can always find the WRMN News here on WRMN at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We want to thank both Chief Lally of Elgin Police Department for coming in today. You can find that on YouTube, as well as Councilman Steve Thoren coming on as well for that community spotlight. Both of those interviews can be found on our YouTube channel. Head on over to youtube.com. Find us at WRMN Radio. Before we go into our stories for today, let's go over a little bit of the weather. As we go through the day, it turns windy with a snow shower this afternoon, and freezing drizzle is still possible. The key impact today is slick travel, especially during the earlier commute window, and the high reaches 37 today, with temperatures falling to 8 overnight. Cold locks in any moisture on pavement, and it can refreeze, so make sure that you look out for those slick spots. Saturday, partly sunny and cold still, with a high of 25 and a low of 20. Sunday, mostly cloudy, with a high of 29 and a low of 21. And Monday, partly sunny and noticeably milder, with that high of 46 and low of 29. The good times continue to roll on Tuesday as we get that high of 45 and low of 31 before the rest of the week starts to taper down. A free public forum for Democratic candidates for Illinois State Comptroller will be held at 6:30 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, February 11th, at the 95th Street branch of the Naperville Public Library, 3015 Cedar Glale Drive. Hosted by Indivisible Naperville, the forum will include Democratic Comptroller candidate State Rep. Margaret Croak, State Rep. Stephanie Kofatif, Lake County Treasurer Holly Kim, and State Senator Katrina Villa. Forum questions will focus on Comptroller's responsibilities, including the state's budget, Illinois bonded debts, its budget stabilization fund, and the potential impact of federal program cuts on state payments. Attendees may meet and speak with candidates after the forum. When we come back, Elgin City Council gives its final approval for a new eatery. An Indian fusion restaurant banquet hall could replace the Golden Corral. Stick around, we've got some more great WRMN news coming up right after this.
This is Sherry Aschenbrenner, Vice President of Dementia Friendly Elgin Area. Everyone knows somebody living with dementia. Caregivers and friends of those with dementia are always welcome at our Elgin Area Memory Cafe, always the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the South Elgin Public Works Building, 1000 Bowes Road in South Elgin. Also, Dementia Friendly Elgin Area gives free 20-minute dementia awareness trainings to local businesses, church groups, to bunco groups. Just invite us. If you'd like to get put on Sherry's senior email blast list, please email us at dfelist@gmail.com. Also, you can go and visit our website at dementiafriendlyelginarea.org.
Tune in to Sherry's Senior Moments radio show on the second Thursday of each month at 9:05 a.m. until 10 a.m. on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN Radio app, or WRMN Radio on YouTube. That's Sherry's Senior Moments, providing resources and information for our seniors in the community.
The road ahead can be unpredictable, but with the right partner, you're always moving forward. At Heartland Bank in Hampshire, we're with you every milestone. From savings to small business lending, we offer local decisions and personal service that gets you where you're going. Stop in at 819 Warner Street or call 847-683-4444. Heartland Bank, proud sponsor of America's First Responders Fest.
This is Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town WRMN. National news at the top of every hour and local news and weather at the bottom. Find more information about programming and current events at WRMN1410.com. News, weather, and entertainment across the Fox River Valley here on WRMN 1410 AM, the Talk of the Town.
Welcome back into the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green, broadcasting live from Studio 14, where you can watch us on YouTube. Head on over to youtube.com. You can see us over there at WRMN Radio. You can always listen live online for the full audio 24-hour spin at WRMN1410.com, or look over to your smart speaker and say, "Hey, you smart speaker, play WRMN 1410. Elgin City Council gives its final approval for a new eatery. An Indian fusion restaurant banquet hall could replace Golden Corral. This comes from Rick West from the Daily Herald. A new Indian fusion restaurant and banquet hall could be coming to the space formerly occupied by Golden Corral on Randall Road in Elgin. The Elgin Planning and Zoning Commission signed off this week on plans for the new Tulsi Indian cuisine and events at 601 South Randall Road. The Elgin City Council still needs to give final approval. The restaurant is on the north side of the shopping center that is anchored by Blaine's Farm in Fleet and also features a Planet Fitness, Dollar Tree retail store, a dentist's office, and a cosmetology school. Property owner New Future LLC, which operated Golden Corral before it closed last fall, said the rebranded space would feature a full-service restaurant along with banquet facilities that could host up to 244 guests for corporate events, weddings, or other celebrations. The footprint of the building wouldn't change, but the restaurant would get upgrades, including exterior changes like a modern facade with new dormers and stucco. Company representative Silpa Yadla told the Planning Commission Monday, quote, "Our goal is to activate an underutilized establishment that contributes positively to the area while being a responsible neighbor." The plan required zoning approval because the new configuration would require 197 parking spaces, while only 166 are on company property. New Future LLC has reached an agreement with the adjacent shopping center business owners to share spaces. The banquet space, which would feature 2 rooms, one with a capacity of 200 people and the other a smaller room for up to 44 guests. The 2 rooms could be combined. The restaurant would be open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., while the events would be scheduled between 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. with most events held Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Yadla said Golden Corral had been in business for 18 years, but never fully recovered following the pandemic. Read more about it from the Daily Herald. A daycare worker is accused of giving laxatives to kids. We'll read that before we go to break. A worker at a daycare business in St. Charles has been accused of giving laxatives to toddlers without their parents' permission. Giselle J. Juarez, 23, of Sycamore, has been charged with misdemeanor attempt at aggravated battery and misdemeanor endangering the life of health of a child, according to St. Charles Police. On Tuesday morning, several parents told police that a teacher at an unnamed business had given laxatives to 3 children. The children are 2 years old and younger. Juarez turned herself into police, was processed on the charges, and released. Police did not name the daycare business, but said it is in the 2400 block of West Main Street. Anyone with information is asked to call the Investigations Division at 630-277-4435. When we come back, a man was found shot in Oak Brook Terrace parking lot after a crash, and a person was struck by a freight train in Villa Park. We've also got our headline stories of the day. Batavia wants pedestrian safety work on the highway, and dealing death. Fentanyl-laced pills pose fatal risk to unsuspecting users. You're listening to the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. We'll be right back after this.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids right here in our own backyard are facing hunger every day? Without healthy food, it's harder to grow, to thrive, to feel their best.
The impact when children don't have enough to eat is tremendous because when you're hungry and your basic needs aren't being met, you cannot learn.
Every child deserves to be fed. This is a problem we know how to solve. Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Breakfast in the classroom contributes to kids being more focused, which leads to higher grades, and simply just their well-being.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Firearms are the #1 cause of death among kids, but we know that healthcare workers can make a huge difference. This is why prevention is absolutely critical. It starts with listening to the community, leaning in on those conversations to better inform what is the approach that you want to take. You are the champions for change. You can be the catalyst for integrating firearm injury prevention strategies into your practice and really benefiting your community. Let's agree to agree that we all have a role to play in ending this crisis.
Building a house is hard, but have you tried removing one? Flood Brothers takes the mess out of demolition. With fast roll-off dumpster delivery, reliable debris pickup, and a family-owned team that takes service personally. Call 630-261-0400 or visit floodbrothersdisposal.com. Flood Brothers Disposal, proud sponsor of America's First Responders Fest.
Welcome back to the WRMN News. A man was found shot in Oak Brook Terrace parking lot after a crash. A man died of a gunshot wound Wednesday night after a crash in a parking lot in Oak Brook Terrace, police say. Authorities responded around 6:06 p.m. for a report of a crash in the parking lot of 2 Trans Am Plaza Drive building. According to a news release from Oak Brook Terrace Police, police officers found a man suffering gunshot wounds The man was pronounced dead at the scene. The police, the DuPage County Metropolitan Emergency Response and Investigative Team, the DuPage County Coroner, and the DuPage County State's Attorney Office are investigating the matter. The release said this appears to be, quote, an isolated incident with no ongoing danger to the community, unquote. The person's age and identity have not been released. Anyone with information is asked to call 630-941-8320 or email Detective Sergeant Jeffrey Bryant at jbryant@oakbrookterrace.net. A person was struck by a freight train in Villa Park. Officials say an adult pedestrian was hit by a freight train Thursday in Villa Park. Villa Park police officers responded early Thursday afternoon to the Union Pacific tracks near Ardmore Avenue. Officers administered aid until paramedics arrived, and the person could be transported to a hospital. The pedestrian's condition was unknown. Metra issued a service alert on its website saying Union Pacific West inbound and outbound trains had been stopped because a pedestrian had been hit by a freight train. A release from Villa Park Police said the Metra Police Department had assumed responsibility for the investigation. The renamed Palatine St. Patrick's Parade will step off at 8 a.m. Saturday, March 14th, from the corner of Wood and Oak Streets in the Village downtown. Before and after the parade, sponsoring establishments will host events to help celebrate the occasion. Businesses, nonprofits, houses of worship, youth sports organizations, and neighborhood groups interested in marching in the parade can register now at durtystpats.com. Visitors can also nominate a queen, king, and their royal court or learn about sponsorship opportunities. Batavia wants pedestrian safety work on a state highway. Batavia authorities want to reduce traffic lanes on Batavia Avenue, or Route 31, through the city's downtown and believe state officials are inclined to go along with it. There could also be changes for traffic and parking on Wilson Street near the state highway to improve safety for pedestrians. Several options for additional road diet and crossing work were presented to aldermen last week. One version involved adding a right turn only lane on westbound Wilson at Route 31 and a right turn only lane on northbound Batavia Avenue. Depending on the design favored by the Illinois Department of Transportation, it could mean removing parking spaces on the south side of Wilson east of Batavia Avenue near the backside of the Batavia Public Library. People park there and cross Wilson to get to restaurants and other businesses on the north side of Wilson, oftentimes jaywalking, one alderman said. The state might allow spaces to be added to Batavia Avenue north of Wilson as a replacement, a consultant told the council. State has okayed the need. Batavia Avenue, which is state-controlled highway, had 4 thorough lanes until the fall of 2024. It was then put on a road diet instead of 4 lanes, which were narrower than current standards. Part of the road were restriped to 2 through lanes and a center turn or median lane. The idea was to slow traffic and reduce crashes. The road diet was done from just south of Fabian Parkway to McKee Street and from Main Street south to Moosehead Road. The middle section was considered more problematic given there are businesses and street parking along it, and the busy intersection at Wilson, the main east-west road through the town. The city also will seek permission to add rapid rectangular flashing beacons at Millville Drive and at McKee Street. It will ask for those to be overhead beacons, which are more visible to drivers. A consultant told the council. It will also ask for an overhead beacon at Union Street, which currently has a roadside beacon. The beacons don't stop traffic. Instead, when a pedestrian pushes a button, lights flash and warn drivers that someone wants to cross the street. The city used to have a beacon at McKee, but it was damaged in a crash. The state initially refused to give permission for a replacement. Then the city held off because it preferred an overhead one, which the state did not favor at the time. Also, police were worried the beacon may have decreased safety at that spot. In 5 years before it was installed, no pedestrians were hit. In the 3 years after its installations, there were 3 incidents. There were concerns that drivers in the inside lanes would not see the lights if the lights were blocked by cars stopped in the curb lanes. Read more about it from the Daily Herald. That was written by Susan Sarkakis. Her and Keyshawn write a fantastic political articles on the Daily Herald. You can find it under Cops and Crime, Keyshaw and Sarkakis. Go to thedailyherald.com where you'll be able to find out how you can sign up for the e-edition or get a paper delivered directly to your home. This is the WRMN News. Don't forget that we broadcast live at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, and we redeliver the news at 6 p.m., making sure that we have any breaking news coverage throughout the day. If you'd like to find out more about WRMN, the hosts, how to get involved, or any of the shows that we have here on the station or throughout our network, go to WRMN1410.com. And be sure to listen even through our evening programming, as we have changed that to be more of a theatrical, old-school radio presence. We've got more WRMN news coming up where we cover the Fox River Valley and the surrounding area. Our headline story is just around the corner. Dealing death, fentanyl-laced pills pose a fatal risk to unsuspecting users. That was written by the Shaw Local News Network. We've got more WRMN news coming up right after this.
With your news flash, I'm Ryan Gatenby. Brought to you by Rain-X. Illinois drivers are paying less for car insurance. Insurify says average full coverage rates fell 7.2% in 2025, saving drivers about $138 a year. The average annual cost is around $1,800. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office has won the state's first civil hate crime lawsuit under a 2018 law. A Carroll County judge ordered 2 residents to pay more than $90,000 in penalties and damages for racially motivated intimidation of a black neighbor. Illinois Senate Democrats are pushing new taxes on digital advertising, billionaires, and corporations, arguing large companies aren't paying their fair share. Republicans counter that state spending has surged in recent years and warn higher taxes could drive businesses out of Illinois. I'm Ryan Gatenby with your news flash.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The Colonel despised the word empty. Empty plates, empty tables, empty stomachs. That's why he made the KFC $5 bowls, like the famous bowl. Creamy mashed potatoes, crispy chicken, corn, gravy, and cheese. Because the only empty the Colonel liked was when you reached the bottom of that bowl. The Colonel lived, so we could chicken. 5 KFC bowls for just $5 each.
Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
When disaster strikes, flood or fire, every second counts. At Emergency Construction Group, they specialize in immediate response and same-day service for any residential, commercial, or industrial emergency across the Chicagoland area. With over 30 years of experience, they've got the expertise, manpower, and equipment to handle any size loss fast. They follow strict IICRC guidelines to restore your property the right way, the first time. Their team values transparency, constant communication, and strong ethical standards because your peace of mind matters. Licensed, bonded, and insured, they're here for you 24/7, 365 days a year. Call 855-4ECG now. That's 855-432-4669. Or visit their website at emergencyconstructiongroup.com. And let Emergency Construction Group put your life back together one step at a time. That's Emergency Construction Group. Your satisfaction is their passion.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast, brought to you by Progressive. Today, a chance of snow showers this afternoon. Cloudy with a high near 36, falling to around 29. Expect some light accumulation. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 8. Looking ahead to Saturday, sunny with a high near 23 and temperatures dropping in the evening. Currently, it's 35 and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Welcome into the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Coming up today, our headline story from Shaw Local News Network: dealing death, fentanyl-laced pills pose fatal risk to unsuspecting users. But before we get to that, let's check in with our weather. As the day goes through, it turns windy with a snow shower this afternoon and freezing drizzle also possible. There's going to be some slick travel throughout the day as the high reaches 37, but the temperatures will fall to 8 overnight. As that cold locks in, any moisture on the pavement can and more than likely will refreeze. Saturday, partly sunny and cold with a high of 25 and a low of 20. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high of 29 and a low of 21. And Monday, we finally start to get a little bit more of that heat returning with partly sunny and noticeably milder, high of 46 and low of 29. Tuesday, the warmth continues. At times of sun and clouds together with a high of 45 and a low of 31 as temperatures begin to steadily drop throughout the rest of next week. Dealing death, fentanyl-laced pills pose a risk to unsuspecting users. This was brought to us by the Shaw Local News Network, written by Amanda Marzano, Tom Collins, Charlene Bilma, Felix Sarver, and Camden Lazenby. Mike Wiley knows what it's like to live with crushing grief. The Lake Villa man has not been the same since his only child, Jacob Wales Wiley, died February 14th in 2024. Whaley says, quote, losing a child was so unnatural. It leaves a hole in you. It's a scar. Even when people think you are doing okay, you're not doing okay. It is something that never heals. An artist who loved music and was described as loving and funny, Jacob was 27 years old when he fell prey to the threat posed by counterfeit pills, street drugs that buyers do not know contain deadly doses of fentanyl. Police said Whaley traveled to Wisconsin and bought, quote, Percocet 30 milligram oxycodone pills, unquote, which wound up being fentanyl-laced counterfeits. Whaley died from adverse effects of fentanyl. Ashton Cowart of Kenosha, Wisconsin, was charged with drug-induced homicide in Jacob Whaley's death. If convicted, Cowart faces up to 30 years in prison. Whaley said, quote, it goes deep for everyone. Unfortunately, it is a bigger problem than the average American understands. Counterfeit pills, quote, are one of the most dangerous drug threats we face, said Todd Smith, Drug Enforcement Administration Chicago Field Division Special Agent in charge. Smith said, they're designed to look legitimate, but often contain fentanyl in deadly, unpredictable amounts. One pill can be fatal. Well, how big is the problem? Purchased unlawfully, the drugs often are stamped as M30s, Xanax, Percocet, oxycodone, Vicodin, or even Adderall. It doesn't take much for added fentanyl to turn deadly. A lethal dose of fentanyl is equivalent to the size of a few grains of salt, according to information from the Drug Enforcement Administration. And the chance that a buyer can unwittingly end up with one is growing. Louis Agostini, DEA Public Information Officer for the division that includes Northern and Central Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin, said the DEA Chicago Field Division seized 1.7 million counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl in 2025 alone. It was up from 1.2 million from 2024 and just 54,900 in 2020, according to the DEA's Chicago Field Division. One example of the continued threat happened in 2024 when a mother and son from Arizona, described by prosecutors as carriers for a Mexican cartel, smuggled 120,000 counterfeit pills into McHenry County. Despite the blue pills being stamped as oxycodone, they tested positive for fentanyl and had a street value of $1.8 million to $3.6 million, prosecutors said during the initial court appearances for Gloria Gaslam, 55, and her son, German Vargas Jr., 33, of Tucson. Assistant State's Attorney Stephen Grogorowitz said they had enough pills to kill 120,000 people. Fentanyl's growing appearance has to do with the use of opioids. Specific to Illinois, an unclassified 2024 DEA report said the opioid threat was one of grave concern, quote, particularly regarding the proliferation of fake oxycodone pills, unquote. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid with its growing use pinned on a couple of reasons. Among them is the substitute for heroin. Fentanyl, which is cheaper to make than heroin, is mixed with other drugs because it enhances and prolongs a drug's effect. It's that use which is leading to a huge surge in overdoses in recent years, the CDC said. Where does fentanyl come from? Agostini said, quote, historically, the counterfeit pills laced with fentanyl that we have seen throughout our communities are produced in Mexico en masse by the Sinaloa and Jalisco New Generation drug trafficking cartels. The pills are made with chemical precursors imported from Chinese pharmaceutical companies, he said. The cartels then use their distribution network to traffic the counterfeit pills throughout the U.S. Read more about it at Shaw Local News Network. They've got some more in-depth coverage that's over there. Head on over to Shaw Local News Network to read more about dealing death. Fentanyl-laced pills pose a fatal risk to unsuspecting users. When we come back, we've got more local news here, including the Elgin High School Teach-In, and we've got some coverage from our correspondent, Leslie Lines. Stick around, we've got more news after this.
Get ready for an unforgettable night out in downtown St. Charles at O Shows, where live music, dining, and entertainment come alive. Visit the iconic Arcada Theater at 105 East Main Street and experience the venue voted Chicagoland's premier entertainment destination. Whether you're enjoying a headliner concert, dining at Rock and Ravioli, or hitting the speakeasy at Club Arcada, O Shows creates memories. Tickets and event info at oshows.com, and you can call 630-962-7000. That's 630-962-7000. Make your reservation, bring your friends, and plan your next event at O Shows. Live music, dining, and entertainment, all in one place. Visit oshows.com and join the fun tonight. Supporter of the America's First Responder Fest.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Welcome back to the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green. Elgin High School has a teach-in. Scientists from around the world will participate in this year's National Biodiversity Teach-In, organized annually by the environmental science students at Elgin High School. About 20 webinars, which are free and open to the public, will be offered between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. on 3 consecutive Fridays, today, February 6th, the 13th, and the 20th. Topics this year include lemon sharks, captive whales beneath the surface, soil contamination, plastic pollution in Great Lakes, captive whales, development pressure impacts, and more. Visit nationalbiodiversityteachin.com for a schedule or registration. Webinars also will be live streamed on the Teach-In's YouTube channel and its Facebook page at NatBioTeach-In. Also covering Elgin, we've got local news correspondent Leslie Lines, who submitted this report.
For WRMN, this is Leslie Lines from Fox Valley Magazine. On Saturday and Sunday, February 7th and 8th, violinist Geneva Lewis, recipient of a 2021 Avery Fisher Career Grant, will be featured with the Elgin Symphony Orchestra and Barber's Expressive Violin Concerto, a work renowned for its lyrical warmth and fiery finale. Led by ESO music director Chad Goodman, the program also includes Dvorak's powerful Othello Overture, inspired by Shakespeare's tragic character, and Brahms' deeply introspective and noble Symphony No. 3. Lewis is quickly establishing herself as one of the most compelling young violinists of her generation. Her performances have been praised for their remarkable mastery by Boston Musical Intelligencer and deeply musical maturity by the Strad. She has also appeared with major orchestras across the U.S. and Europe and continues to captivate audiences with her musical depth and stage presence. A pre-concert talk by ESO music director Chad Goodman will take place 1 hour prior to each concert. Tickets available at elginsymphony.org. Again, tickets are available at elginsymphony.org. Tickets start at $20, continuing its commitment to making performances affordable and accessible to the community. The ESO offers discounted student tickets for $10 for those with a valid student ID and free youth tickets for children's age 17 and under with a paid adult ticket. Call the ESO box office at 847-888-4000. Again, that's 847-888-4000 for more information and to include free youth tickets in your order. The ESO box office is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Hemmons Cultural Center is located at 45 Symphony Way in Elgin. From Fox Valley Magazine, for WRMN, this is Leslie Lines.
Thank you, Leslie. My name is Dennis Green. The Geneva Chamber Chief says no intention to cancel Swedish Days. After the big buildup that Geneva's iconic Swedish Days Festival was in jeopardy without city funding, the meeting last week resulted not much, publicly anyway. Chamber Treasurer Susan Huang took the city council to task at its January 20th meeting, asserting that its festivals were at risk without a financial commitment from the city. The chamber gets a portion of the city's hotel-motel tax for promotions and advertising of its festivals. Chamber Board President Michelle Olson said a Thursday, January 29th meeting between city officials and chamber was intended to arrive at, quote, a number they could both agree on. It appears nothing was settled, except that Swedish Days will go on this year, Olson said. Chamber representatives met with City Administrator Alex Voigt and Economic Development Director Kathleen Tasmanziko, Olson said. Olson continued, quote, we outlined what we would like to do. They were gathering information. I do not intend to cancel Swedish Days, unquote. City officials were unavailable for comment, but city spokesman Kevin Starr said in an email that he would reach out to Voigt on Monday. According to the chamber's 990 tax filings as a 501c4, it lost $463,000 in revenue from 2023 to 2024. In 2024, it also spent nearly $500,000 more than it took in, with a revenue of $1.26 million and expenses at $1.6 million, record show. Olson characterized the chamber's cash issues as sometimes having a bad year. Olson said in earlier comments, quote, "These festivals are just expensive to do. The tax forms don't necessarily reflect the reality of what is going on. That is just plain fact of tax forms." The chamber also hosts Geneva Arts Fair, Festival of the Vine, and the Christmas Walk, as well as smaller events throughout the year. Read more at Shaw Local News Network. When we come back, we've got some more WRMN news to close out this hour. I'm Dennis Green. I'll be back with you after this.
Attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. That's 800-257-3148.
Before the weather gets too cold, it's time to finish up those outdoor jobs. That's why ComEd wants you to know that electricity can jump from a power line to you and to the tools you're using. So maintain a safe distance from any power lines. You can also call ComEd at 1-800-EDISON-1 to have those power lines de-energized the next time you do any work around them. Stay smart, stay safe, stay back. ComEd, powering lives.
Hey Bears fans, want your business heard during every heart-pounding moment of the game? WRMN 1410 is now offering in-game ad spots for Chicago Bears broadcasts. Be a part of the action as thousands of die-hard listeners tune in each week. Whether it's a touchdown, turnover, or a timeout, your message will be right there in the mix. Spots are limited and going fast. Call WRMN 1410 today at 847-741-7700 and score big with in-game advertising that delivers results. Get in the game with the Chicago Bears on WRMN AM 1410.
Welcome back to the final segment of the WRMN News. Lake County Audubon Society is hosting a winter bird walk from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Sunday, February 8th at Daniel Wright Woods Forest Preserve at 24830 North St. Mary's Road in Metawa. The popular location is within the Des Plaines River watershed, where a variety of species spend the entire year or just the colder months. Species seen here so far this year include red-headed woodpeckers, belted kingfishers, common goldeneyes, brown creepers, barred owls, and even bald eagles. Remember, that's the bird walk from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Sunday, February 8th at Daniel Wright Woods Forest Preserve. Thanks for listening to the WRMN News. The WRMN News is brought to you twice a day, Monday through Friday, starting at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. We also have a new lineup for our weekday shows. Starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, of course, is the WRMN Morning Show, where you get a great Fox River Valley wake-up from Elliot the L Train and Susie C. That goes from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way up until 9 o'clock, where at 9 o'clock, WRMN has the Community Hour. We've got a variety of different shows that broadcast at 9 a.m. throughout the week and throughout the month, whether that's Cruises International, Wise Coffee Chat, or checking in with our favorite city council member or the chief of police. We've also got a few other shows, including Chamber Chat, and we also check in with our health with both the Medicare made A, B, C, D easy. And of course, we've got the Sherry's Senior Memories, or rather, Sherry's Senior Moments. Right after that, we of course got the 10 o'clock news that you're listening to right now, or we've got the 6 p.m. replay. At 11, Out to Lunch with Matt McNeil kicks off with our normal staple. And following that is What's Cooking Today with Mike Horn. What's Cooking Today with Mike Horn breaks our day up as we march into Talk Time with Tammy and Friends starting at 2 o'clock. That begins at Monday and Thursday, but a special treat here on Fridays is Dino's Night Out from 2 to 4, taking that spot there. You can find all of these great programs over at youtube.com, including playlists of their episodes. At 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday, we've got Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer, where he breaks down all of the different sports news throughout the day. Then our political talk kicks off after that at 7, right after the news, and we've got some great old school radio theater in the evenings after that. We've got a great new lineup here at WRMN. If you'd like to reach out to us, feel free to at info@WRMN1410.com. This has been the WRMN News. I'm Dennis Green.